Oh. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast. I'm Dutch. I am near or around Denver. Maybe. Who knows? Uh, Another big week. Um, we're going to try and keep it light because I am going to yell about some things. So, different times, different stuff. Uh, let's start off with, um, oh, uh, okay. I know I bitch about this all the time, but dude, if you're not from Colorado, you can't fucking drive for shit. And I know the other people be like, yes, we can, blah, blah, blah. Colorado comes to our state, blah, blah. Let me explain to you something. This weekend, I took some friends up to the mountains, and I had to drive up I-70. It is, it was 65 degrees, no weather, okay? Gorgeous. And I'm stuck behind some asshole, some fucking Subaru, or some out of towner, and they're like, "My cut." No, dude. If your plates are red, I know you have a rental car and you're not from here, and you can fuck off. Going slow in the left lane, and even then, even if you are from here, your little Jeep or your whatever, if you're on a V8, get the fuck out of the way. Like the left lane, and this goes for driving in general. The left lane is only for passing. You pass a car, you get the fuck over. That's it. That's how it works. There's literally nothing else to it. And if you're not actively passing cars in the left lane, you're an asshole and should kill yourself. And I'm very passionate about that. Uh it doesn't matter. Like if you're doing 85 in the left lane and I'm riding your ass, you're not going fast enough. Maybe I want to do 95. Get the fuck out of the way. It's not your job to police the lanes. Now, if you're a state trooper, you probably should get the fuck out of the way too, because you're speeding too, dude, and there's no way you can pull me over because I'm going with the speed of traffic. So just move along, son. I just I mean I could go more into this, but I've done it forever. I don't understand why people can't drive the speed limit or faster. And if you're in the left lane and there's no one in front of you, you should be pedal to the metal. And if you're going up a steep incline, like some of the Vail Pass or any of the passes in Colorado, and you've got your little pussy mobile floored and you're not accelerating, you're in the wrong goddamn lane. Because I can accelerate up the hill. Doesn't matter how fast I'm going. I can go faster. So you just move along and get out of the way. So I don't have to fucking have a stroke and kill myself. Or you. Oh, before okay, so we were taking separate cars because I wasn't gonna stay. I just taking them up to the place. But I just to make it easy, I was like, hey, we should meet at Total. Total's where to buy booze. And because I need to buy some booze. And I mean it's my weekly buying booze plus for you we should meet at Total and we'll leave from there. They're like, yeah, okay. So we met at Total. We were all a little late because the highway was closed going northbound because some asshole ran into some other asshole and they shut down the highway. But we made it, okay? So we're up there at the liquor store at Total. And shout out to these guys, like Total Wine and Beverage or whatever they're called. Awesome fucking people. And here's why. Some other of my friends, a woman and her husband, and her husband claims to like whiskey and bourbon. I said, hey man, this is a pretty good one. Pinhook's not a bad one. I like Pinhook. And I said, this one's really good. And I went to, and this was like $100 bottle. Then I went to pick up and I just slipped and it dropped and shattered all over the floor. Just wasted it. So I went up to the guy in the whiskey section of Total and I was like, hey man, I got good news and bad news. I broke a bottle of bourbon. And I was crying. I mean, I had tears in my eyes. he started tear up too. And he said, "Well, what's the good news?" Is like, "I'll pay for it." He was real cool when he's like, "Man, you don't have to do that. It's part of the business. It's an accident. I understand. I probably know you. You've put 7 of my kids through college, but yeah." So shout out to Total, awesome. Um, Drivers, you guys are pieces of shit. Get the fuck out of our state, my state. Fuck you. I'm so goddamn done with it. And 99% of the time, it is a fucking Subaru. You people are the scum of the earth. Okay, moving on. Uh, it's been a while since we did the March Madness bracket live, and I just want to update everyone on how that's going. So the bracket I did live is not going well, but I did do another one that I made a couple minor changes to. I'm in first place. I'm hanging on by a thread though, man. So at the end of all of it, like now, coming up this weekend for the Final Four, I need Duke to lose, and I need Kansas to go down. And if those two teams lose, I win. Bingo, three-peat complete. If they don't win, mm, so Kansas loses, Duke wins. I'm in second. Kansas, Duke both win. I still might be in second. I need Kansas and Duke to lose so I can win it. And yeah, we're gonna talk sports for a minute. So the tournament has been this is one of those years that there was like no clear like front like you know rock jock Jayhawk nerds. Um, a lot of upsets. Kentucky got their upset by St. Peter's, who moved on a couple rounds, and they got stomped tonight by UNC. There were a couple other upsets. Michigan made it way further than I ever thought they would. UNC is a little bit surprising, believe it or not, to me. Um, Duke in the Final Four is a little surprising to me, but after their first game of the tournament, I thought about it, and I might have made a mistake with Duke because I didn't take into account that it's Coach K's last run at a championship, and like how far heart can get you when you're that talented. Like so Duke's a very good team. That Roach kid is out of this world, and the rest of them are. So by itself, by themselves, fantastic basketball team. Added with the Coach K's last year and how great would it be for him to go out on top, I may have underestimated them. I'm not sure though. Man, that's what doesn't make me feel great. Kansas, I'm pretty sure they'll lose in the Final Four. Okay. I think let's just check this real quick because I picked Villanova to win it. Okay, so and I need them to win this. Wait, what the fuck is this shit? Okay, because if Villanova wins outright, I'm good. I've won clearly. Okay, um, yeah. So I think Villanova can beat Kansas. That's no problem. I'm not worried there at all. I'm worried about the Duke UNC thing, which I is super fitting for Coach K's last dance, man. Like this is we're gonna get emotional and sentimental, and it's gonna be a good game. Um, Villanova knocks off Kansas. I think Duke knocks off UNC, but it'd be better if they lost. So, like for my bracket, it'd be better if they lost, but for my heart, I'd be okay. And since gambling takes over my heart, I need him to lose. But if it is in fact Duke and Nova in the championship, I don't know how that kid from Nova's doing after the other day. He went down pretty hard, looked kind of bad. But I gotta go with Nova, man. I'm going to three-peat this year. Uh let's see what else about March. The most of the games, the majority of them have been really good. The officiating has not been great, but everybody complains about that every year. And I'm not going to harp on anything specific. I'm just going to harp on the fact that the NCAA continues to just keep the Big Ten in things that they don't belong in. None of those Big Ten teams, belonged anywhere near any of this. Okay, but the refs, a couple calls here, a couple calls there. But, they kept them in it and these kids pushed through, which I can't blame them. But, the Big Ten always gets more favorable calls. And then when it really comes down to a better team, they get destroyed because they suck and it's the Big Ten and those people are assholes and fuck them. That part's annoying. Um, but what are you gonna do? Wait a minute. Oh, see the couple who went up is actually making fun of me now. Okay. Moving on. March Madness has been fun. I'll update you guys as it wins, as I win, because I'm pretty sure I will win, because I'm that great at this. But what else do we have to? Okay. This is kind of politics, but not really. So we all know, like, I hate Vice channel, and I think Vice News is the dumbest fucking thing in the history of the world. Okay. Um, but I flipped onto a channel or a show the other day on Vice because again, Comedy Central is right next to Vice. So when I'm watching Comedy Central and I hit guide, Vice shows up, and then some other channels, but Vice shows up there too. So what I do is I saw this called like Another World in My Own World, some dumb crap like that. Okay. And I'm like, huh, what is this? Because sometimes you got to research the other side, like figure out what these idiots are thinking. So I watched this show, and or I bits and pieces because it's so fucking bad. I can't handle it. Okay, and this will build into something else too. Okay. Um, this particular episode I watched was about some guy who actually believed that inside the earth, like under the crust, were other civilizations of humans. Yeah, like people living down there and shit. And he was part of a group that was trying to either prove this to be true or find these civilizations. Okay? And these wacko beliefs of him, which are wacko, were alienating his family against him, and he had to hire a therapist, and that was the show was about. Okay, so let's dissect this a little bit because again, this is part of the problem, and absolutely this guy's a left-wing whack job, but this can be applied to most of the left-wing beliefs. Okay, so you can just fill in, like, I don't know what we're gonna call this yet because I haven't come up with it, but like inner world bullshit. Okay. But let's think about it. First of all, there's no one living under the crust of the world, of the earth, okay? And Let me respond to this real quick, and then I'll continue. Okay, so excuse me. Like, maybe I can just Google this, like Earth's layers, real quick, and explain this because I know there's the crust, the mantle, um, and that, but I'll use the proper terminology, and then that'll help me explain this to everyone. Okay, here we go. So you have the atmosphere, which is the air around you, and you have the crust, which that's like the land we live on, and then you have the upper mantle, the lower mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. Okay, so you got the atmosphere, that's air. You have the crust, which is land, and then right under that crust is the upper mantle or the mantle, other words known as fucking lava. Okay, that's like how tectonic plates, you know, how you have like faults, those where two plates hit each other. And when the two plates go up, that's what makes mountains. And when the two plates go down, that's what makes like Mariana's Trench, I think, and San Andreas Fault and shit like that. Also, like the Ring of Fire, that's the Pacific Islands, stuff like that. That's why they have all those volcanoes, because there's these two plates ramming in each other and they're going down. And then when they crack and run into each other and they go down, some lava shoots up, and that's a fucking volcano. Um, Nobody lives there. They can't. It's lava. Now, if this guy's gonna say that the below the crust, like, because I don't know, the crust might be, let's say, 100 miles. Inside that crust, someone might live. Okay, that's also wrong because there's no sunlight. People, human beings, do not live in fucking caves their whole life. Yeah, we had cavemen, and we just called them that because the cave was like their house. But they came out and they got vitamin D from the sun every once in a while, just like you are a houseman. You live in your house, but sometimes you go outside, and your house has windows, and you get sunshine. You can't live with no sunshine. I'm pretty sure. Also, if you live under all of this, I'm not sure there's that much oxygen 50 miles in the ground. And if people are like, oh, but Dutch, there's an opening that the oxygen comes in, and okay, how come we haven't found that opening? So I can walk down and be like, oh goddamn, there's another civilization down here. Holy shit! Most openings we go down are like, wow, there's a pretty cool ice cave, and they're not 50 miles down. They're like a mile or two tops. Where do these people get food? Cave food, the bugs and fish, and where they get what? Rainwater. Okay. So all this is absolutely fucking retarded. Unbelievably goddamn retarded. And this guy believes it, and he gets a psychic friend who, this bitch is crazy. Like, this is a party. So she's like, I have to stare into the light. So this guy has his douchey sunglasses. You know, the ones that are like, the douchey ones are no longer, well, they're still the white frame ones. But we're talking like the ones that are like a solid lens. You know, like 80s Oakleys, but they're like a solid lens. There's no whatever. And he sets these on the beach in the sand, and the sun's reflecting off of him, and she's staring right into it like Deliverance. You know, and she's like, oh, I see this, this, and this. And again, staring into blinding light should not give you superpowers. That's not a thing. You're as crazy as your asshole friend. So inherently, this is dumb. Okay, and I mean, of course, Vice would give like they would give credence to these people because they Vice News. But what's nuts is how he justifies being a dumbass. So he blames his parents, who I don't remember what both of them did, but they were both like incredibly successful. Like, uh, mom or dad, one of them was like a high powered attorney. Okay. And the other one was, oh, yeah, a doctor. Okay. So, like, attorney, doctor, parents. And this guy is bitching, like, my parents just pushed me so hard. And they were never home because they had to work from like 8 to 5. And oh my, I can't do it anymore. Your parents probably gave you every opportunity to not be a fucking idiot, and you literally took the one smidgen of opportunity you could find to be a goddamn moron. I mean, I see nothing wrong with having two successful parents who can't coddle you your entire life because you're a little bitch. And now you have found a group of idiots to console with you. And like his friends, like, yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I want to check it out, but I haven't done it yet. I probably actually won't. But yeah, it's like the three of them are retarded. Um, so he gets this. Of course, he lives in California, but I don't know if he hires or the TV station hires a therapist for him to talk to and try and like bond again with his parents and fix what the fuck's wrong with him. But oh, yeah, the best part is the dude, the crazy idiot who like believes this stuff like people live in the earth, used to work for fucking NASA. And I don't think he was like a janitor at NASA. Okay? He was probably like a scientist or an engineer, someone who's pretty smart or is supposed to be. So I don't know how you go from like working at NASA to like, oh yeah, people live inside the earth. Or like a flat earther, those people are retarded too. Okay? But so yeah, he used to work at fucking NASA. Okay? Like astronauts, space people, real fucking smart. Okay? And this guy goes off the deep end and starts thinking that people live inside the earth. So yeah, his group's a bunch of idiots too, but the therapist, and I didn't watch it long enough to see how it all came out, but you could tell that the therapist is slightly irritated, or I don't know, maybe he was just getting a check. But I don't know how a therapist can take this shit seriously. Like, personally, I think this therapist is also a little bit of a scumbag because, come on, dude, you're just taking money from somebody who clearly has a mental disability that you're not equipped to fix. You're like a family therapist who makes house calls and sits by the fire pit out in some guy's backyard. Okay, you're not equipped to deal with this. Like, this guy needs a professional psychiatrist to sit his ass down and be like, dude, you're wrong. Like, you're a moron. You need to quit believing this shit, or fuck yeah, your family's gonna leave you. You're an idiot. Like, you are as dumb can possibly be. Get it together. I'm leaving. All right, so that's that. That was just, it was weird. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with. All right, and that brings me on to like the left and stuff. So you guys have all seen these commercials for Noon, right? I think it's called Noon, like Noom or Moon. I don't know. It's the weight loss thing through psychology. It's an app, and I know what they're getting at with their commercials. And if you don't, you're part of the problem. But you know, there's like that one commercial that it shows like this kid, teenager or kid preteen and teenager, and his parents like, finish your plate, finish your plate, finish your plate, and he finishes his plate, and then later it shows him as adult, and he's a fat piece of shit just eating everything, and he's like, oh my god, I've been forced to eat food all my life with finish my plate. They've psychologically brainwashed me into doing that. No, okay, trust me. If you grew up like what I did, maybe anybody if you were born like before 2000, and maybe even today, because yeah, my brother's kids were born pre 2000. They're like 3.5 and 3 or 2, or I don't know, but they sit down and have like normal fucking meals, okay? And the reason that your parents tell you to finish a plate is because there's some things on that plate that you may not like as a child, but are good for you, and you'll learn to like them as an adult. Because I had to finish my plate, and there were vegetables on it, and maybe I didn't like Brussels sprouts as a kid, but as an adult, I fucking love them. Okay, I'm not fat. Yeah, I'm a little heavy set now, but I'm not fat because my parents told me I had to clear my dinner plate before I could leave the table. Okay, I'm fat because I haven't been able to function for 2 years because of a massive Achilles injury and then a tendon transfer surgery. And yeah, I drink a lot and eat some shitty food that I shouldn't. But I'm an adult. That's my responsibility. It's got nothing to do with my fucking parents telling me to clean my plate. Okay? Stop blaming other people for you being a fat piece of shit. The other commercial is like, yeah, again, a kid, a preteen, a teen, just like shoveling food, and like grandma or mom's like, it's made with love, it's made with love, it's made with love. And then as an adult, the fat person's like, I've been trained to guilt eat. Oh, you haven't, man. Because when you go to McDonald's and shove down 6 cheeseburgers, I promise you, the little drive-through boy is not like, oh, it's made with love. Actually, McDonald's might, because they used to have that slogan like, I'm loving it. Okay, so McDonald's might actually be psychologically tricking your simple ass into getting fat. But Burger King isn't, and Taco Bell isn't, and so you're just stupid and you're fat and it's your fucking fault. It's just like the guy in the show who was a NASA scientist who started believing people lived in Earth. It's not because your parents weren't home or they weren't there for you. It's because you're a dumbass. Like, you're a dumb person who probably should be locked up in a psychiatric hospital. Okay? Um, you weren't abused. You just had parents who were functioning members of society, and you decided not to be. Just like if you're fat, you weren't abused with love or made with love or finish your plate. That was just all normal stuff. And as an adult, you made a dumb decision to be a fat piece of shit. Okay? Again, I'm fat now. I blame no one but me, kinda. But I mean, I won't be fat forever because as soon as I'm healed, I can, get back on the bike, start being active again. Maybe even drink less. But right now, I mean, there's very little to do but drink and be fat. But I'm not blaming other people for it. Like I got hurt, and I mean, it comes with the territory. I'm sure a lot of people who have surgery put on a couple pounds, laying in bed for 2 years. It's just the way it works. So, fuck you. Good God. Okay, so Ukraine's still not going great. Um, we're not getting into that really tonight though at all, except guys, you can't let Biden talk. So he gave a speech a couple days ago and said some things, and then immediately the White House has like 3 clarifications. They're like, I know Biden said the sky is blue, but he didn't really mean it was blue. He meant blah, 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 blah. Stop letting the old man with dementia talk out loud. Jeez. And this is, again, this is left. This is all your fault. Yeah, so I don't really want to get into Ukraine. I don't give a shit. You know my stance on this. What we will talk a little bit about is some of the repercussions of, or perceived repercussions. Okay, so a lot of folks say that you cannot blame the president or the leader, and we're going to talk specifics here for a minute. You cannot blame the president or the leader of a country for high gas prices. And normally, to a certain extent, yes, that is true. With the exception of a few countries like Venezuela or Iraq or Iran or the Saudi Arabia or fucking Russia or what's the other one? I know it's a big one. Oh yeah, the United States of America. And the reason you cannot blame those countries, or that you can blame those countries' leaders for high gas prices, is because those countries produce a fuckload of oil. Now follow me here. Let's take Russia. Okay. If Russia's gas prices are high, the government is to blame. And this is why. Because Russia produces like a third of the world's oil. So a fuckload of it. And oil prices are high or low based upon a very basic concept called supply and demand. So if you have a small supply and a large demand, the price goes way up. And if you have a small demand and a big supply, the price goes way down. Okay? So let's take Russia, for instance, and we'll apply this to other countries in a minute. Russia has a ton of oil, so supply is very high. Russia's a shithole. I don't think there's a lot of demand for it. So oil prices in Russia should be relatively low. Now, if the government decides that they're not going to keep any of the oil they produce and they're going to send it all out over the world to other people, that means that locally in Russia, supply is low. Demand would be high, even if demand is not really high. Like, let's say only 10 people want gas, but we only got one gas, then the price goes up. That is the fault of the Russian government. Okay? They've decided to sell all their oil to other people instead of their citizens. That's why oil or gas might be expensive in Russia. That's why it's the government's fault. Now, let's use the United States as a example. We have a fuckload of oil. And I don't care what you say, this is a fact. The United States, the continental, including Alaska, so maybe not the continental, but the United States underground has a ton of oil. Our problem, however, though, is that the government, Joe Biden, has decided that we're not going to produce our own oil. We are going to let assholes like Russia and Iran and Venezuela give us our oil because we're trying to be green. Now, that is the fault of the government. We have it, we just don't want to use it. Which, again, Supply is low. Demand is fucking high. Oil expensive. If the supply was raised like we drilled here in America and got our own fucking oil and became energy independent like we were under Trump, it would be okay. But the policies of this administration have literally murdered the oil and gas. And they lie to you and they're like, oh yeah, man, we no, they're not. Okay. And that's just, these are absolute utter facts that you can't, well, you can argue with because you're on the left and you're a fucking idiot. That is why gas is expensive, is because we're buying it from places we shouldn't be buying it from. And they're like, oh, you don't have any? And you need a lot of it? Well, we're going to charge you out the ass for it. And we're like, okay. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. We're literally, okay, so think of it this way. We are literally sitting on a stack of cookies. And I'm sitting on a stack of cookies. I'm like, I'd like cookie. And rather than just take a cookie from the stack that I'm literally sitting on and eating that cookie, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to France and buy some cookies. France, like, how many cookies do you want? I was like, I need 1,000,000,000 of them. And I'm sitting on like 60 quadrillion cookies. But I tell France I need a lot of cookies. And France is like, okay, we have cookies. You don't. How much are you willing to pay for them? I'm like, I'll pay whatever you want for them. France is like, okay, man, these cookies are $100 a piece. I'm like, okay, I want some cookies. So I'm going to buy $100 cookie from you. And then I sell it to my friend at $200. My friend's like, what the fuck, man? Why do you not just give me one of the cookies you're sitting on? And my answer is, because I'm a dumb shit. And I vote Democrat. That is essentially, in the simplest way, what is happening right now. We are sitting on a pile of cookies and we're buying them from Russia, who's at war, and we're mad about it. That's why gas is high. That is why the president of this country controls gas prices. Or the government, the administration of this country controls gas prices. Now, if you're a country like Germany or, yeah, who also, A, does not have very much petroleum or all, but B has also made laws that prevent you from getting any of the little that you do have. And then you're going to buy all your cookies from Russia. You're fucked. So, necessarily, the price of gas in Germany is not necessarily the government's fault. But the price of energy in Germany is the government's fault because they could have had nuclear energy, super efficient, super safe, super all that. And Germany was like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to buy oil and natural gas from Russia. Well, Russia's attacking Ukraine, so fuck them, we're not buying from them anymore. Now we don't have anything. So what little we do have, we have a small supply and big demand. Price goes through the fucking roof. That's how economics work. And I know that if you're on the left, you don't understand that because you're retarded. But it's okay. I will be here to explain it to you. And hopefully next time you get a ballot and you're like, should I vote for a Democrat or a Republican? You will not vote for a Democrat because you're not a moron anymore and you've learned things. Because let's face it, man, green energy doesn't work. It is not reliable. There's not enough of it. Like, we don't have enough windmills to make all the electricity we fucking need. Okay? We don't have enough solar panels for that. And right now, the cost of building more windmills and more solar panels and all that shit to get electricity is far more expensive than the benefit. Like, it costs $10 billion to make one solar. Again, this is hyperbole, but follow me. It costs $10 billion to make one solar panel. That one solar panel produces enough electricity for 5 houses. So each house has to pay $2 billion for electricity. Or we could get oil that costs 1 penny to produce for 9 million houses. So each house has to pay 1/9 millionth of a cent. Okay? That's how that works. It's far more efficient. Blah, 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 blah. And climate change may be real. Yep, I said it. It might be real. Is it man made? No. You don't have that kind of power, you dumbass. Now, you may have contributed a small portion to the warming of the earth, but the earth goes through cycles. It goes through cycles of warming, it goes through cycles of cooling, it goes through cycles, and your dumbass has little to no effect on that at all. Like I said, we went through an ice age thousands of years ago. What caused that? The cavemen driving around, too many fucking dinosaurs farting and shit? No, it just that's what happens with the earth. Okay? It goes through cycles, man. You're not affecting it as much as you think you are. So get over your green car. And again, your Tesla. Jesus, how do you think electricity's made? By steam, from coal or natural gas, or from petroleum. How do you think you make the batteries? Petroleum. How do you think you make the metal? Petroleum. The tire, petroleum. All of it is petroleum. Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Okay, decade. Moving on. Twitter banned the Babylon Bee because they said that a dude was a dude. I think it was Leah Thompson. That guy who's swimming and pretending to be a chick. The Babylon Bee was like, yeah, that's happened. And Twitter's like, that's hate speech. So facts now or hate speech. Fuck Twitter. That's all I gotta say. Moving on to more insanity. So, this week, or last week, technically, because today's Sunday, was the hearings for Ketanji Jackson Brown. If you guys don't know who that is, that is the Supreme Court nominee to replace Judge Breyer, nominated by the Biden administration. Let's start with the obvious. She's a black woman, and that's because when Biden was running for president, he promised, had he got the chance to put a judge, he would hire a black woman or nominate a black woman. Which, again, we talked about this 1,000 times. Inherently is fucking stupid because your sex and your gender, and the color of your skin should have no bearing on you going forward or back in this world. It should solely be based on merit. But that's not how the Democrats think, and they just play identity politics because, again, they're fucking retarded. But this chick has reached a whole new level of dumbass. On two main things that I'm gonna harp on for a little bit, and then I think we'll wrap this up. First of all, one of the people who are questioning her on the advise and consent. Again, this is not a confirmation. This should never be a thing that the Senate does. It's nowhere. They've just made this up in the last 50 years or less. It's not a thing. I have my own issues with the Supreme Court. I don't believe they should judge the constitutionality of things, and maybe we'll discuss that later. But one of the senators or whatever is questioning Katanji over here and is like, uh, Your Honor or ma'am or whatever, can you give me a definition for the word woman? And now Miss Brown says, Can I define it? The senator's like, Yeah, can you define woman? Can you give me a definition? And Miss Brown says, No, I cannot. I'm not a biologist. Think about that. Let's dissect that just a little bit. First of all, if you're an adult and you can't tell me the difference between a man and a woman, I can't fucking help you. Like, you have no business being outside of your house without a guardian and a fucking helmet on. Okay? But this is the real kicker here. She says, I'm not a biologist, inadvertently admitting that men and women, the definition of those two, are rooted in biology. So it's not a choice that you think you have or any of that stuff. It's a biological function. You either have the XX chromosome, woman, or XY chromosome, man, biology. That's just it. Like, there's no XXY, YYX, YYZ, none of that shit. You either double X, woman, or XY, man. That's it. It's in bio. I mean, she even admitted it's a biological function. So, no more tranny talk. It's not a thing. That would be a psychological defect. If you're born XY, man, and you think you're woman, that's a psychological problem. That's not a biology problem. You're still a dude. Sorry. Has anyone ever noticed too, like, there are not a bunch of chicks transitioning to dudes to go play male sports? Funny how that works, right? Does that mean that there's a difference between men and women? Men might be like stronger, faster. Women are better at some things than men. Most of them are smarter. I'd like to think. They're definitely prettier. I mean, even as a heterosexual male. Oh God, we got. Oh, I don't have time to talk about this, but remind me. There's somebody who wrote an article that said like heterosexualism is a social construct. A recent one, like we're talking 1960s. This guy's a fucking idiot. But I think we can all admit that like women are better looking than men, just as a general thing. I mean, again, as a heterosexual dude, there are some guys that are, I mean, they're good looking guys, but there's even like, let's take the most attractive guy and the most attractive woman. I would still say that most men would be like, that chick's hot. And most women would be like, that chick's hot. Than that guy. You know what I mean? So we're all good at different things, and that's how God made us. Like, if He made us all the fucking same, that kind of defeat the goddamn point of it all. I mean, I don't know anymore because I don't understand, and I do understand. Okay, they don't actually believe this. They just want attention on social media. Okay, or they want donation dollars, or they want votes to be in power. Okay, but there's no way that you can actually still believe any of this horse shit that the left peddles. Now, it's like people who drink IPAs. You don't actually like those. You just want to be a pretentious piece of shit. Okay, you don't actually believe in trans and all that. You just want to be a pretentious piece of shit because you even have your own side admitting that it's rooted in biology. So shut the fuck up. God damn. All right. Now, the second issue with Miss Brown is a few folks have called into question her perceived light sentencing of pedophiles. And this is another thing that the left is super on board with, is normalizing adults fucking children, which is not normal. That's about as bad as it could. That's as bad as it can be. I honestly think like murder, if you kill someone else, that's really bad too. But it's less than diddling a fucking kid. Like, you've got Hitler is here on the bad scale. Pedophile is worse than Hitler. All incredibly evil pieces of shit. But pedophile might take the cake. I don't know. They might be tied. I don't want to hear the, oh, Dutch loves Hitler. No, that's not what I said. Listen close. Okay, so there's this perceived view that Miss Brown, uh, Judge Brown, Judge Brown, yeah, that's it's probably more respectful, is lenient towards pedophiles in her sentencing. For the record, she is. Like, it's documented, and she is. And not okay, but let's hear your reasoning. And her reasoning is one of her reasons, one of that I'm going to touch on. There's probably others, but this is one of the ones that I focused in on. Is she said that pornography, and I'm gonna say kitty porn. She said that kitty porn is more available or easily more easily available now than it ever was. Okay, which yes, with the internet, that is true. And her justification is that, like, hey man, if you if you if you search it, you click on it and you watch it, and that, let's say it takes 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, she doesn't believe your entire life should be ruined and you should go to prison for 50 years. Okay, Judge Brown, how long does it take to kill someone? I pull the trigger, boom, they're dead. What was that? A tenth of a second? Do you think that tenth of a second should damn my entire life and I should go to prison for a life sentence? Let's say I'm a serial killer and I walk into a house and I murder an entire family of four in like 2 minutes. Just go in there with a gun and like pop, 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 kill them all. That's 4 lives in 2 minutes. Should I not get 4 life sentences because, I mean, the gun was readily available? It only took 2 minutes. It was a 2 minute mistake. Should I not go to prison for 4 life sentences? Of course I should. I'm a serial killer, god damn it. Just like a pedophile. If you're searching for kitty porn, even if it takes you 10 seconds to find it because technology's helping you out, that doesn't mean the sentence should be any lighter. If you diddled kids in the 50s as opposed to 2020, you get the same sentence, motherfucker. You're still a chomo. Just because it's easier for you to be a piece of shit doesn't mean the sentence should be lighter. I was like, hey man, back in the day, you really had to work at killing someone. Before guns were invented, you had to choke them out. And since it took that much more effort, you really had to put some effort in it. I'm gonna give you a life sentence. But nowadays, since we have guns and shit, you didn't have to put that much effort into it, so you only get 10 years. That's essentially what they're saying, which this judge is saying. Then hey man, like, back then it took some effort to be a pedophile. You had to like get a Polaroid out, you had to get a van and lure some kids. So yeah, with all that amount of effort, you go to prison for 50 years. But nowadays, it's so easy to get kitty porn. Then fuck, you should only go to prison for 5 years or get some probation. No, man, that isn't how this works. It's not like how hard it is to do your crime. Oh shit, man, robbing that bank was fucking easy. I'm only gonna get 10 years. Oh, dude, robbing that bank was super fucking hard. I'm gonna get 100 years. That's not how that works. So, but this is what happens when the people on the left have a say in things nowadays. They didn't always used to be this crazy. Like, I didn't have this level of disdain for them. But that's what it is now. Like, they're that crazy that they believe this shit. Like, hey, she can't define a man or woman. I don't want that person judging shit. And she's lenient to pedophiles. Just fucking crazy to me, man. Uh, what else do we have for you out here? Oh, dude, more crazy leftist shit. All right, so I don't know when this happened, maybe a while back, but Vicky's Secrets, you guys know Victoria's Secret, like lingerie, tits and ass for chicks. Lingerie for chicks, tits and ass for dudes. Okay, that's the business model. They were touting that they have hired the first model with Down syndrome. Okay. Uh like I'm kind of at a loss for words, but I'm also not because I know exactly what I want to say about this, but that's fucking creepy. Sorry. Okay. So inherently, Victoria's Secret is a sexualized thing. Okay? But let's face it. Yeah, I know lingerie's for the ladies a little bit because they want to feel like, oh yeah, sexy, empowered, beautiful, all that stuff. Okay? Let's face it, a good push-up bra doesn't make you any smarter. And you sure is you might feel smarter, but that's not what it's there for. Um the lacy thongs and all that, that isn't there to make you smarter. Okay? It is there to sexually arouse your partner, male or female. I'll even concede that point. Okay? That's what that's there for. And I should know. I love lingerie. Okay, that's one of my things. Like good classic, yeah. Maybe not like edible underwear or crotchless panties, none of that like lot lizard shit. But yeah, I'm thigh high. Let's not get weird about it. But yeah, like, let's face it, that is absolutely a sexual component and meant to arouse and get your motor running. I do, however, take issue with you putting a mentally handicapped person in that position and making her a sexual pawn. I mean, that is literally like because a while back they had a 17-year-old up there doing that shit. That is literally like dressing kids in lingerie. Now I don't know what degree of Downs this woman's has. It might be mild or whatever, but clearly diminished mental capacity. Okay, and I'm glad for her, but Victoria's Secret, fuck you guys, man. You're sexualizing kids and the mentally disabled. That is a step way too far. That the left's like, oh yeah, good, more, yeah, and I mean, am I the only one that finds that creepy? A little bit, right? That's no, man. That's fucking weird. And I'm not saying disc. Yeah, I am discount. That's not the job for her. Okay. Christ, when's Pornhub gonna be like? Yeah, we got our first mentally challenged porn actress. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but who cares? That's basically what Victoria's Secret's doing. And if she has the mental capacity to understand all of this, she doesn't have Downs because that is literally the definition of it: diminished mental capacity. And yes, I know there's stupid models, okay, but we're quite haven't proven that's genetics yet. because I'm pretty sure Down syndrome is like a genetic, an actual like in your DNA something didn't quite go right. Which again, I have no problem with Downs. I like a lot of them, most all of them. Okay, I think it's cool that they're unabashed and the hugs like they'll hug everybody. My PT lady helps a young man out. Okay, with it, like we're all on board with this. What I'm not on board with is fucking sexualizing them. Okay, I don't have a problem with him working at Wendy's or even. I mean, if he wants to be a stockbroker and is capable of it, fine, awesome. Sexualizing them, that's a different fucking world, though, man. You know, I think want to be an opposite of a stockbroker, though. If you're a stockbroker and you're taking a bunch of money from someone with Downs, maybe isn't sure what's going on, you're a piece of shit. Unless you have like talked to them and people helping them out and be like, look, I'm going to make this person a billionaire. But if you're just taking it to pad your own pocket, you're a piece of shit, just like Victoria's Secret. You guys are pieces of shit. You're sexualizing the mentally disabled and children. So fuck yourselves. Okay, that's it for me. This week, at least. Good job, people on the left. You have once again sunk into a new low of scumbag. um, Next week, what do we have? The conclusion of March Madness, but we will not get to that. Ooh, I might have to record one during the week because in 5 days, I'm going out of town for a week. I'm not taking any of this stuff, no Xbox, no nothing. So there will be no podcast on that. So you know what? We'll not get an immediate update on the March Madness and the crazy shit going on. So you just have to wait. I might record one this week though, just to get it out of the way, and then I can post it like when I'm on vacation, so it doesn't seem like I'm on vacation. But that's what I will be doing. Uh, I'm still streaming games on Facebook. I haven't a lot this week because I have March Madness and other stuff going on. Um, but I probably won't tonight either. Yeah, it's bedtime. Tomorrow though I will, and then Tuesday I will for Destiny Reset, and then we'll play the week out, and then Friday might do one last Friday because Saturday is when I'm out for a week or more. Okay. Uh, Follow the socials. Mine at Dutch the Beast. That's the Twitter, or at Dutch in Denver with no I. That's the other Twitter. The rest of them have an I. Facebook, YouTube, all that. Like, subscribe, do your part. And when you're doing all that, I want you guys to go check out a good friend of mine, Batman. That's gamer tag. He's not the Batman, trust me. He couldn't pull off Batman. Actually, no, we're not gonna get any kitties and caves and Robin. But Batman Shane, he and his buddy Levi, and sometimes Batman's not there, but it's always Levi and someone else. They have a podcast too that is called West of Nowhere. And it's not bad. Okay? Like we all know this one is like Emmy winning, top notch, like giving Joe Rogan a run for his money. West of Nowhere is like close. Okay? And I mean Batman's pretty cool. Levi's cool. They're all good guys. So when you're done subscribing, liking, and listening to the Dutch and Denver podcast, the best podcast, go listen to like the second best or third, fourth, maybe fifth best, but in the world, fifth best in the world is pretty good. And it's called West of Nowhere. Like the direction west of nowhere. I know, trippy, right? They're on YouTube. Um, Everywhere you get podcasts. So just like, subscribe, do all your shit for me, and then go do it for West of Nowhere. So I don't have to hear Batman bitch anymore. And like I said, it's not a bad podcast. It's a pretty good one actually. I I listen to it. Okay. That should be a stamp of endorsement. Or maybe not. Maybe if I listen to it, it's a bad one. Maybe I'll stop listening to it and it'll be a good one. Who knows, man? Can't figure this stuff out. It's way too complicated. I'm out of here. We'll catch you guys next week. Gaming on Facebook. We'll see you later. Until next time, Bye.